So let's see.
But we do have a beer cooler.
Let's banter for a moment.
Perfect. And that's the first thing that's going to show up on the Facebook Live feed.
Yes, the beer cooler. With ice in it and beer.
Yes, absolutely.
Of course.
For those who are curious, we're talking about John's boat.
Yes.
Yes. My yacht. I love saying that.
Yeah, you're gonna build a layout in your yacht
I could.
below decks.
Like, no, I'd do it right above the deck. I'd put track right around the edge of it. We could. It's 12 volts. I mean, the whole boat's 12 volts DC.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not hard to hook up DCC or anything like that to it.
Yeah, but when you get a good lean going, it probably won't track very well.
Well, they'll go over the edge, but hey, whatever.
Bad good traction.
So now that we're here, just kind of wait for everyone to join up. We'll give everyone 2 or 3 minutes.
I don't see the thingy.
Yeah, we're up there right now.
Okay, I'm looking for it now. I see the advert.
So Bobby's going to be feeding me questions, so we'll let those build up a little bit. But I'll get us started. So, good evening, everybody. We're here for the latest Rapido live event. We haven't actually done one of these in quite a while, probably a couple months now. We did one after Christmas and probably the last time. So I'm Jordan. I've got Captain Sheridan, Captain Stubing.
Captain Stubing, fix you.
Bill Snyder, of course. He's in his layout. But what you started construction on that? What about the 20th of January?
Last week.
Oh, July.
Yes.
20th of July.
Still pretty good for 7-8 months ago. So.
We were cranking right along until everybody got locked down. I had a couple people that were helping me, and I have to do it on my own.
Well, hopefully we'll be opened up pretty fast. I know you guys are getting your vaccines a little quicker than we are up here, but it's moving along. So
for the general public, how's it going, eh?
Yes, how's it going?
Always have to say that.
Yep. So pretty much tonight we're going to be going over our order deadlines. We got 2 order deadlines coming up on the 15th. We've got the Evans X72 boxcars in HO. We've got that's John's project, and we've got Bill's project, the Pennsylvania GLA hoppers. We'll be talking about that. What else have we got? We got our new announcements. We've got the new NSC barrel ore cars in HO. We've got the N-scale fish bowls. We'll be looking at those, and also our other upcoming order deadlines. So April 15th will be the PAs, and what was the other one? Oh, the V100 boxcars. So we'll be going over that throughout the evening and intermixing that with questions. So we'll see how that goes.
And one of our awesome announcements that we'll be doing in April.
We got a bunch of announcements coming up.
Yeah,
Also,
we have
working on. We can just.
What's that?
If we could just get him to the launch point, yeah.
Failure to launch. And people are already asking where Janet is. Janet is not here tonight, but I am filming a little bit of a video with her next week, so you should see her back maybe once or twice in the next couple of weeks. We'll have her on some videos, but no, she's not here tonight.
Janet's wonderful.
Not wear a skirt.
We do need to get her on one of these live streams one day.
Yeah, Janet's wonderful unless you owe her money. then it's kind of like the mafia owing the money. Exactly. Yes.
All right, so why don't we get right into it? Let's start with what do we want to start? Let's start with the new announcements. So I'm going to share this on the screen. If I can find it here, gotta get the right screen up.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I don't want to share the wrong thing.
Oh my.
On one screen, give away all our state secrets.
Yes.
No, not that.
No, not the state secrets.
All right, here we go. Let's start with the NSC barrel ore cars. So
oh yeah,
this up on the screen. 1 second here.
Clack.
There we go. Yeah, that's my.
There we go.
Board. So we announced this. So it was about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago now. So this is the 8-scale NSC barrel ore hoppers. These were a unique car to Ontario, southern and northern Ontario. We have a couple different versions. So there was both the short barrel and the long barrel later versions. We've done both in both the Ontario Northland and the CN paint schemes. And there's 2 Ontario Northland paint schemes too.
I'm absolutely thrilled with this because
yeah.
I'm one of those weird Americans that modeled Ontario Northland.
It's it's a car that you have to have then. This is actually one of the
Yes.
first. The barrel ore train was one of the first trains I ever actually saw when I was probably about 5. Because they ran up and down the Newmarket sub, right down and then across into Hamilton there with the pellets. So I barely remember it, but it just kind of when I was about 6 or 7 when they stopped running it. But they're really neat car.
They are cool. Really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially the tires on the roof.
Yes.
Yes. Just in case it rolls over, I guess.
Yeah. So it can roll sideways.
Yep. But these are actually in tooling right now. So I think we should have the samples later in the spring. That might be a little bit optimistic, but somewhere around there, late spring.
Well, the spring goes through until June.
Yeah, spring's till May 31st.
Late second quarter. Let's just put it that way.
The underside of these cars are really cool.
It is.
Dan Darnell spent a lot of time trying to sort out what the underbody looked like. They came out great.
Yeah, he actually finished. I think he finished the design for the entire body for both bodies, and then realized that we pretty much had nothing on the underbodies. So that was the last stretch.
It's another one of these projects that stuff keeps coming in as you're working on it. Changes your opinions.
But yeah, if you're modeling the late 60s through around 1990 in Ontario, these are pretty much a must-have. And of course, they ran in unit service, so you need fleets. We've got that's the CN long barrel cars. We've got what was that, 12 numbers? We've got the short barrels that's 6 numbers for this run. We've got the scale test car, 3 different numbers. Of course, the Ontario Northland cars, we got progressive green on the short cars and the chevron in the long cars. And we're also doing undecorated. So we've got undecorated in both versions, the 40-foot and the 35-foot version. And I believe we are also going to be doing unnumbered cars. I believe that's a custom order, though. I think you have to give us a call because they're not available through the website. And we're working on an arrangement with Jim at Highball Graphics. He's doing a custom decal sheet that will be available direct from him. I don't think
it's decals for those of us on this side of the border.
Yeah, of course.
Decals for you Americans.
But we're pretty excited about this car. It's really neat. It is a unique car, but some of them did make it out in the west coast of I think we're out in Washington State. We're using them with different reporting marks and painted solid black. That was up until the 2018. There were also I think some of them went to Metro. I believe Metro cut the roofs off, and they use them as ballot cars. So yeah, so we're thinking about doing those maybe in a future run too. And wow, we've already got lots of questions coming in. So why don't we do some questions?
Okay.
And then we'll move on to the buses and N-scale. So
well, there's Cutler.
Questions.
There's a decal sheet.
Here's one for Bill. How about some H21A hoppers?
What's that?
PR H21A hoppers.
Order a lot of GLAs, and that would be on my short list.
Yep.
Everyone, if it's Ontario, if it's for New York, Ontario, and Western, Bill will automatically make it.
Yeah, it's just like how Jason needs things for his layout.
The H21 would be a good car. We'll see how the GLA does.
Yep. And someone's asking about the HO new looks. They're coming along. They've been in production for a while now. It's a very complicated project, but we should see those leaving the factory in a month or two, I believe. Probably the end sometime late April, I believe they're ready to go. There's a lot of printing work that goes into those. The assembly is actually pretty straightforward, but painting and deckling, not deckling, but putting all the graphics on those shells is a very time-consuming process. But they will be around probably in the next 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere around there.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that they have to be H21Es, not just H21s, but H21Es.
Of course.
Who is that?
I don't know. I saw it fly by. And there was also someone that said we need more New York, Ontario, and Western stuff. What?
There we go.
There we go.
That's the other New York, Ontario.
Yeah,
There's 18 of us now. Stop that.
Yeah, there's 18. That's one of the 18. That's
We
why it's
all
not
have to buy
Malcolm.
6 packs of hoppers, otherwise.
Yes.
It's probably Malcolm in disguise.
Mm-hmm. Got a couple of people asking if we're going to be doing E44s, or if we think that would be an interesting model to do.
Ooh.
How do you
Yes.
think about E44s?
I would love to do one.
New York, Ontario, and Western have any?
No.
Oh, but it would still be a good.
But the New Haven did.
Sure.
Anything New Haven-y.
Do fantasy schemes.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do Foobies.
Yes, for sure. Anyway, let's look at the fish bowls then, the N-scale fish bowls. So this was the other announcement. Let me get that page ready to go. And a lot of people have been asking us to do these for a long time. So there they are. These are the pre-production samples you can see on our website here.
I'm still
So
amazed that these are in scale. They look so good in the photos.
they do. They really do. It almost looks like what could have been done in HO, but yes, these are actually N-scale buses. And we've got different variations too. So I believe they're all based on the 5303, but we've got 3 different bumpers. We've got with or without air conditioner on the back of the car or of the vehicle. That's the single stream rear door we've got on there. We've got the emergency door on one side. We've got full underbody detailing. You can see there's pretty much everything is on there. The cabling, the bracing, and they're lit too. So we're going to have headlights and taillights.
God.
Yeah. And are you gonna? Is Jason gonna ask you, John, to do opening doors?
Yes, he's going to ask me to do functioning opening doors. Then I'll be forced to kill him.
Yes. One sec here. And are you gonna? Is Jason gonna ask you, John? Oh, I think you got some feedback there.
Yes, he's gonna ask me to do functioning opening doors.
Who's it?
And I'll be forced to kill him.
That's not me.
That's not you. Hold on a second.
No, it's you.
I don't think it is. No,
Not
I'm
me.
I think you got some feedback there.
He's gonna ask me to do functioning
Sorry,
opening.
that might have been me.
Oh, it's Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
I had it muted. Then when I enlarged it, it went unmuted. Sorry.
That's why I have a headset on.
Yeah. But let me put the buses back up here for a sec, please. I think I had to switch out.
Oh, that's us.
Better be us.
Oh no.
That's worse.
Anyway, there we go. So we got the buses back up there. We've got several paint schemes in the first run. So we're kind of doing, just because the lettering is so simple, or very, not simple, very small, we're just, some of these are just kind of generic buses. We get generic greens, yellow, they're kind of like a Boston MBTA type bus. We do have the license for Go Transit, so we're doing those ones. There is a little bit of an extra fee on there, but that's for the royalties that they expect. And of course, we've got the Toronto schemes, we've got New York, we've got the Santa Monica I can't call it a certain name, but it's a, let's just call it the fast moving bus.
Yes. Yes. Did it involve surfing?
Something like that.
It's something along
Yeah.
those lines.
Well, it did go flying. So
Yes. At 55.
yep. And a couple other generic schemes. We got blue, red, white, and a silver. Again, this is just the first release. There's certainly going to be the opportunity to do lots more in the future. And we are open to doing custom runs. If you're at a store maybe, or you're looking to do a custom run, we can do, with minimum quantities, of course, we can do different batches. So get in touch with us.
Something above one.
Yes,
Yeah.
more than one. If you call and say, can we do a custom bus of maybe 1 or 2, we can't do that.
Oh, I'd buy one.
You buy one of those, yes, of course you.
Yes.
Why not? We'll do one for the New York, Ontario, and Western.
There you go. Bill would buy one.
Perfect.
Yes, he would.
Of course, they were produced after the railroad closed, but yeah, maybe they just went into mass transit.
Yeah,
They converted from trains to buses.
there you go.
They probably would have lost money at that too.
Going from nowhere to nowhere.
Yep. But yeah, these are going to be really neat models. We've got real rubber tires on them. Even the mirrors are very finely molded, so they're going to be really cool to see. We'll probably see some new samples sometime in the spring. So let me answer some more questions.
Ooh,
Rail M420s, we get that question a lot. They've definitely been talked about. Somebody asking specifically if we could do it as a conditional announcement. What do you think of that?
what?
N scale 420s condition.
BC Rail, or even N scale.
BC Rail requires a lot of modifications.
It does.
Yeah, unfortunately, the BC rail ends up being almost all new tooling, even though it looks vaguely similar.
And that's and that's kind of the question: is would it be worth doing maybe a conditional announcement to see where
it might be?
I've been begging for the P&W one.
We actually get a lot of people asking for those.
Yes.
Now that also means that,
But it's all in the same boat.
Yeah, and it's not the same tooling as the BC Rail one.
yes.
It's exactly alike except for all the differences.
Yes.
We've also got a comment from a Bobby A. Let's just call him.
Block him.
Let's call him D. Allard. He's very
Oh.
excited for the possibility for BC Rail M420s. So we don't know who this is though.
No, I'd block him.
Yeah, block
Yeah,
him.
we get rid of him. And yes, we know that
First, our questions dry up, but that's all right.
Yes.
we know the E44 New Havens were E33s. And if anybody brings that up again, we'll only do the Virginian ones. And that's it.
Virginian only.
And Virginian only. If you bring it up again.
That'd be like doing we'll do the EP5s, but we'll only do them in Penn Central.
I like it.
Yes. My wallet would.
Right, Paul.
I do it just to spite you.
All right. Well, Bobby, keep sending questions for me. He's talking about BC Rail now. He's off on a tangent. So
Uh-oh.
well, let's talk about something else then. How about our order? Actually, you know what? The GLA. Maybe we could talk about the optional thing we're going to be announcing.
We could.
Let's talk about that. So I'm going to share a picture of that. We haven't actually announced these yet, but
Jordan.
we are. Oh, he's got one right there.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's beautiful, isn't it?
It's like a Christmas miracle.
We'll take this as a soft launch. We will be doing coal loads for the GLA hoppers, and something everyone will need. So this is kind of just in the works right now.
Yep.
But I believe we're going to be announcing this in our newsletter probably in a week or two.
The next newsletter goes out sometime in a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
In a week or so.
Yep.
So definitely, if you need some coal loads for your GLAs, look out for those.
And these are nice coal loads.
Really
they're not horrible
They're
resin
a
ones.
resin load. I'll tell you, they just look absolutely amazing. The guys at our factory sent me one and said, "Hey, we can make these too." And I said, absolutely, we got to do it. So
What is it made out of?
it's a cast resin.
Oh, nice, very nice.
Yeah. So the other thing that's nice is it actually adds some more weight to the car. Not that the car needs a lot of weight, to be honest, but you have a loaded hopper with this thing on.
Absolutely. And actually, this really shows. And this is the one you painted up and decaled too.
Yes. Yeah. These are hand painted.
Somebody's,
And I will say that the brake wheels on all these brake wheels getting retooled because it was pretty clunky, but all the rest of the car looks pretty.
Oh yeah. Everything else, we've got the separate metal grabs. We've got the all the brake detail. We've got both the AB and the K brakes.
Yep.
Both versions, depending on the prototype. And yes, and 158 KD 158 whisker couplers will be coming on all of these cars.
And they'll be available in O&W. Everybody has to order a whole bunch of these. Please.
A lot.
I think they have a photo.
by law, you have to order like 50 each.
Right there.
One of the things that's neat about this car, actually, now that George has this photo up, is all the rivet detail and the brace detail and so forth that's inside the car that we were able to achieve, and it really makes the car stand out. It's almost a shame to put a load in it, but we'll sell the load anyway.
Oh, they look.
Somebody suggested we should start a campaign, get loaded with Rapido.
That could be the tagline.
No,
I
I think Jason might go for that.
think he might.
And there's the coal load of the O&W car.
Yep.
So these are quite nice, and this kind of actually leads into our next topic, is that the order deadline for these cars is coming up in just a couple weeks, on the 15th, less than 2 weeks now. So make sure you place your pre-orders.
So if you're modeling any time, these cars were built in the very early part of the 20th century, and they lasted into the 60s. And so if you're modeling any time in that time period, the Penske had something like 30 to 35,000 of these cars, and if there was a ubiquitous two-bay hopper, this has to be it. So
Yeah.
How many do O&W have?
they had 750. So
There you go.
Maybe that's the problem. They bought too many. Couldn't afford to pay for them all.
they were all secondhand.
Yes.
From the Penske.
Westmoreland Coal, actually. But,
Yeah.
there were a bunch of coal companies. Westmoreland, Bearwind White. They keep the Bearwind cars were in service well into the 60s, even into the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
They lasted an amazingly long time. So.
And it's beautiful, all the rivet detail they got on the cross bracing too. That's really nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's always been a bugaboo for me for hopper models, is that the short of resin, it's very unusual to get rivet detail and that type of detail inside, and it is so visible with an open top car like that. So very happy with the way this came out, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right. So actually, what I'll do, I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to switch over.
Somebody claimed that the O&W was making money. That can't be.
Well, they did for a while. Till the milk business dried up, the tourist business dried up, and the coal business dried up, all pretty much in the same weekend.
That's very unfortunate. But here's the here's the our website on the GLAs. So there's some of the early photos too, so you can see how the whole kind of the base of the car is die cast.
So it does have really nice weight for running around empty. With the die-cast chassis, it really works well.
And don't mind the couplers on here. These are not going to come with shelf couplers. They will come with 158s.
Extra safe hoppers.
Yes, exactly. They were very forward thinking.
There were a lot of these cars too that were built, as you can see, that were either had clones built or were sold secondhand, and a bunch of these other railroads had either identical or very, very, very close designs. So it wasn't just the Penske that had them, and the O&W.
Yeah. Oh, they were almost everywhere. So is this more of an Eastern car? Did they make it?
They got everywhere. I've seen photos of them in California, and Texas, and Florida. Some of these were like Cambrian, Indiana. You see those cars pop up in photos all the time in freight trains, the 50s and 60s. So. They really did get around.
And once more, we've got all the different paint schemes. So we've got 6 packs, and we've got the singles available. So the singles are again, this is we produce. If you're buying a single, you'll get one of the 6-pack numbers, and of course these are available through stores. Pretty much.
And on Circle Keystone, there's actually 2 6-packs, so a total of 12 numbers available.
Yes. Quick review of the different cars and numbers. And then I think we'll do some more questions in a second.
Please buy some O&W.
Or their predecessors, which are right there, ironically.
Yes. Yeah.
Bill made sure he represented all of them.
Very nice. And of course, we've got an undecorated car.
The Undeck Railroad.
Yes. Very plain. So let's go back to
the O&Ws.
Yes. Let's go back to some questions here. We've got a question about more cars from the Canadian NHO, particularly the Chateaus and the dining cars. We will probably get to those maybe next year. Hard to say because we're not really planning on it yet, but they will come. We're going to focus on the Manors and the baggage dorms.
Yep.
They'll be shipping late this year, and then most likely we'll get to those, and maybe the coaches as well. The dining cars coaches. We haven't really got a plan for it, but that's kind of a rough estimate that at least probably one or two of them will be coming back next year sometime. But
I'll
you take my word for it. So,
I'll
okay.
eventually get my Canadian set that I missed out on the first time.
Well, they're still
Yeah.
around.
No, yeah. For King's ransom.
All right, let's get another question here. FL9s. FL9s actually shipped out.
Yeah.
Most of them left late last week or early this week. The direct orders, I believe, are going out right now. So stores should actually be seeing them maybe late this week or early next week. If
But
they have,
by shipped out, you mean left Toronto for distributors?
yes, of course.
Yeah, so
They-
it's
they-
still.
They landed in the office about a little over a week ago. So they're on their way out.
Out they go.
Yep. A lot of people asking for vehicles. Might be something we want to look at someday, maybe. So there's a lot of holes in the market for different vehicle projects. So
Other than buses.
other than buses, yes,
Someday we'll replicate Jordan's Bluesmobile.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, that works for me. Well,
He does have a Bluesmobile, by the way.
I do actually, but it's a little bit more newer than what do they have? Was that a Plymouth Fury or something like that?
Yeah, they had the like 73 Plymouth Fury. No, 74 Plymouth Fury, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It was hideous.
Here's another slightly different question here. When planning production for a run of locomotives or cars, what factors come into play when determining which road numbers to produce from a batch of identical units? I'll let you two guys carry that one.
I'm doing it right now.
John's right. I mean, it is a little bit of a dartboard, I think, unless there's a particular unit that is very, very well known for whatever reason or well photographed. Very often it's just random numbers, and a lot of times it's based on what we have good photos of that we can.
Yeah, pretty much. It's what we have the most photos of.
If there's photos of a prototype, that's really easy to do then, because you can just kind of base it off of that to make sure you're not picking a car that was painted totally different or something. So.
Or in the case of the EP5, where there were 10 road numbers, we did them all. So it's
Yeah.
it's very unusual to hit a situation.
Except we initially did one wrong. 375, and the only paint scheme it never carried. We fixed it.
A 1 in 10 shot. Come on, here.
Yeah, 90% success rate.
Well, we fixed it.
Yep.
All right. Maybe we should look at the. I didn't show the X72s yet, so I should probably get. This is John's thing. I can't forget the 72.
I don't know anything about the X72 boxcars. I know nothing about them. Absolutely.
Just wing it.
Here it is.
And there's a close-up photo of it.
Yep. There's a close-up photo of this model, this very model I'm holding in my hand. It is done. It has been authorized for tooling. It's ready to go, and all you Penn Central fans can rejoice.
Mm-hmm. And the order deadline is on the 15th.
Yep, it's the 15th of this month, so get your orders in. Yep, there's the cushion. The cushion.
Is it a Keystone?
Frame. Yeah. I forget which one it is. It's but it's the later one. Well, that helps, huh? There's a big piston under there, which is actually we do represent. You can see it right in the middle there.
Yep.
You know, very interesting car to do. It's a weird car because it's like it's literally a box car. You know, it's got straight sides, it's got a flat roof, it's got, you know, the straight ends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's it's pretty much square. It's a interesting car.
Yeah, very few angles on it.
It's about as generic as you can get in the box car.
Yeah, it's about a bunch of boxes you can get in boxcar. Come on. We, based on the early representations of this car, we did do a few changes that we missed, and they're well represented. One was we had the door there a little too deep, and we fixed that, and a few other little tooling changes, but she's pretty much complete, and they're injecting plastic for this now. So
That's what test shots and samples are for. Gotcha.
That's correct. That's what test shots are for. That's exactly what they represent.
And of course, our problem is that we're very good at putting test shot photos up on the website. That people say, "Hey, wait a minute."
Yeah. You missed
But
this rivet.
that is helpful. I mean, it really is. But that is the purpose of doing test samples, and they're not always finished tooling. So on
And that-
any that we've talked about tonight so far, everything you looked at has been a test sample.
And that will come with a KD58 by default.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Like I said, a beautiful car built in the Penn Central era. We're doing both the small PC and the large PC scheme, and also the large Conrail can opener and the small can opener. We're not doing the blue one in this run. We're going to do that in the second run. So you'll have to wait.
One single blue Conrail.
One single blue car, and we'll do that in the second run.
Yeah.
Not as
So,
a quick back then, I guess.
and also they made CN bought like 1,000 of them,
Mhm.
a ridiculous amount. They also went to York Rail, leasing company, and Arapco, whoever they are, bought
How long
some,
did-
and they were painted
how long
gray.
did these last, Joe?
Hmm?
How late did these last?
Till about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these cars had some legs. I mean, they came out in the early 70s, and they lasted
73?
40 years.
Like 70, 73, 74, somewhere around there.
Roughly. Yeah, it's like late 72, early 73, mostly 73 they were built. And, you know, like I said, the Penn Central was launch customer for them, and we all know what happened to them.
Mhm, mhm.
Same thing that happened to the O&W.
Yeah, almost.
Yep.
Except the road survived. They didn't pull up the track spill.
Well, some of them they did. But
Yeah, some of them they did. But however,
that's a different argument. So we're not
but I remember seeing these. I remember seeing these as a way back as a teenager on the Boston Albany on Conrail paint.
Mhm.
Yeah, I see it all around here. They were a popular car.
And of course, there's our webpage with lots more X72 information.
And by the way, that's my right there. That's my render of the car from
That's
the
very
computer
early render.
from the computer model. Yeah, that's the early renders.
But again, lots of different 6-packs. We've got 6 numbers of the large Penn Central logo. They were in the minority compared to the small Penn Central, so we've got 12 numbers of that coming out.
Yep, it was mostly the X72As.
Yes. Yes.
So what's the difference between X72 and X72A? It was basically the interior.
Mhm.
There was a few other minor differences, but visually you couldn't tell the difference between X72 and X72A unless you looked at the number.
Mhm.
They have a loading rack or something in them?
Yeah, they had a it was like, I think it was 1 inch difference in the interior height or something like that. I'm going from memory here, but yeah, it was some had a different type of loading system, and the X72As came before the X72s, which is weird.
Yes. Yes.
You know, it was one of those, well, it's Penn Central. What do you want? Oh, I heard Craig Zenny just bounce up right now. He just sat up straight.
And of course, there's the other Conrail version. We got the small Conrail and the large can opener Conrail logo.
Yep. Oh, I forgot Western Pacific completely.
Yes, Western Pacific, 10
Yeah.
cars. 10
Yeah,
cars.
they had exactly 10 cars.
Yeah, so we got 3 in the first run, and I'm sure we'll do 3 more in the second run, and 3 more in the third run, and then the fourth run we'll just do 1 single car.
Oh yeah, for you Western Pacific fans, we'll end up doing all the cars sooner or later. You'll get all 10.
I will need these, so I've got a couple on order myself.
Well, you know what's going to happen, getting back to the road number things, we'll do the 9 and then somebody's going to call in and say, but how come you didn't do 9?
Yeah. How come you didn't do my number? Damn you!
Right on the screen all the time.
My wallet's safe. And of course, the CN cars, which were, like I said, they're nothing exciting on the outside, but they were Canadian National. Canadian National bought all of them. I mean, they bought a ridiculous number of them, and they used them for years.
Is that where the York Rail cars went? Were they out of the CN batch, or did they?
Yeah, they were out of the CN batch, if I remember correctly.
So they lasted up to 2015. That's
Oh yeah, they lasted. They had legs, man. You know, they built a good car. And of course the Epasco, that's another GE leasing, and they painted them gray. They probably painted all the graffiti off them by then. you
Yeah.
know.
And of course, undecorated.
Yes, the Undeck Railroad.
If you want to make your own, so.
And all these numbers I do have photos of. So.
Yep. And the order deadline for these is that this is the other car that's coming due on the 15th of March. So make sure you get your orders in.
Yep. And there it is.
The early renderings. Oh, and yeah, of course, yes, the car that
The for real car.
yes.
As opposed to this thing.
Yes, the EP5.
Hive. The EP5. Take note.
Yes.
Finally.
Talk about the EP5. You might as well.
Do you have a quick update on the EP5 then?
Yes, it's they're ordering. They're going to shoot plastic for it now, so it's looking like July, August. They'll be shipping.
Excellent.
They'll be to us. So they're actually in production for those people who have been waiting so long.
It's been a long road.
It's been a very long road, and I will admit the biggest problem with these things was teaching the factory how to make pantographs because they'd never made them before.
Yes, that was the big thing. That was the stumbling block for so long.
Well, that making them go up and down.
Yeah, that and making them go well. Making pantographs is not that difficult. Making them go up and down without binding or doing anything like that was the real challenge. And we went through many iterations, and we finally got it right. And they'll work the way they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And and there'll be a few extra sound files in there for those.
Yeah, for sure.
So when they reach all the way to the top, there'll be a nice crack noise from the electrical, conducting the overhead wire. So that'll be fun.
Let's do some more questions then, and then I think we'll talk about the PAs and the B100s in a few minutes. The Empress 2816. We've kind of talked about that off and on the last little while. Any thoughts about when we might be announcing that? No, it's going to come eventually.
It's one of the worst kept secrets that we are doing that whole series, the H1AB Hudsons. And in fact, my end of the design work is very close to being done, and we haven't made any official announcements yet, but they will be coming.
Yeah, will probably be maybe this year. Hard to say, but who knows?
Very late this year or the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So as I said before, now that the factory solved the pantograph issue and making them work, yes, other things are open, like the E33s and the washboards and things like that. Should we choose to do those?
Yep. Now that they know how to do.
Now that we don't have to wait 3 years to have them help us make pantographs, they know how to make them.
Exactly.
So electrics are all on the table now. Personally, I'd like to see like an EF3, EF4 New Haven. Of course, New Haven.
I think you're biased too.
No, I'm not biased at all. New Haven. And some more New Haven stainless steel passenger cars. We only got 2 left. Well, the counties too.
Like Camelbacks, you've all set.
What's the news with the counties? We have some news on that.
Design work is done. We're waiting for a slot basically to get into production.
Yep. They're ready to go. We just need enough hands to build them.
Yeah. Now, when do we foresee an order deadline on those coming up? Probably not right away, but maybe mid-year. Maybe
keep an eye on the newsletters.
Yeah.
And that I should probably bring that up is our production schedule. So we get this question 15, 20 times a day everywhere.
Is that all?
It depends, but we actually have a full production schedule on our website. And this is the most accurate information to what we know. So people think that we have some kind of secret schedule that if they email us, we'll tell them what the real schedule is. But this is, to the best of our knowledge, the schedule for...
Wait, we don't?
I don't know, do we?
I
think it's above my...
I'm not at liberty to discuss, but here, we'll get to the secret cabal later.
Yes. But this was updated just a couple of weeks ago, a week or so ago. This is the most available or recent information we have on our products in production, products that are coming up for order deadlines, shipping. Pretty much everything is right here, to the best of our knowledge. So we update that regularly, probably 2-3 times a month that gets updated.
So since you're on that part of the screen, the CPD10, I think people have seen the sample photos that we put around. Dan Darnell has that up in the Toronto office at the moment. He's going through it. I've gone through it. We've had a few changes to make back at the factory to get that done and add the rivets and so forth. And as soon as we get the next round of samples, we'll hopefully announce an order deadline. So we're very close on that.
And I'll give it a few minutes, but I'll bring up some D10 photos, the ones that you took in a few minutes. I'll put those up on the screen.
I noticed there's a lot of questions about future Comet cars.
Mhm.
And Comet 1Bs and Comet 3s, Comet 4s and stuff like that. All I have to say is buy more Comet cars now, and that makes a determination whether we'll do the other Comet cars later.
Yes, we get tons of people asking for the Erie Lackawanna.
Yeah, the Erie Lackawanna, the 1Bs, I believe they are. Josh and I worked on that, and that was a fun project.
Definitely.
The Horizon cars came out fabulous.
But just one last thing on the delivery schedule. If you do need to get an update on anything, please go to our website. There's a big button right in the center of the page, delivery schedule in yellow. Click that button, it gives you that whole list. Or we usually link that in a lot of our different Facebook posts. We'll put that link in there. So please visit there.
You should. I mean, it's been on the website for a long time, and it keeps getting missed, I guess.
I think so. We actually changed the word we could change the letters to yellow because people weren't seeing it. If you also go to our contact page, I'll open that up here. It's right on the top. Link to the delivery schedule. So yes, if you are emailing us, please go there. That's the same information that we'll give you is what's on that schedule.
We'll give you the delivery schedule, not the secret delivery schedule.
And actually, maybe this is a good time to show that D10. Let me bring that up on the screen.
Yeah, bring it up. Came out well.
This is the latest pre-production sample. There's still a lot missing on it, but I'll let Bill.
Well, it's not only the latest, but it's also the first. This is the very first sample that we got, and we're very happy with the way it runs. It pulls very well. Had it running around here pulling 10, 12 cars with no difficulty. And I didn't have more on it because I ran out, to be honest with you. They're all still packed up. There's being that it's a hand assembled sample, there were a few assembly issues and also a couple things that we're adjusting on the tooling to clean up, and one of them being the stack, to be honest. And we're looking forward to the next sample.
Of course, the rivets will still need to be added.
So, Bill, what is Malcolm going to tear it apart to make?
Rivets are always the last thing to go on any of these models because it's very easy to make tooling adjustments and changes when you don't have to work around little rivets. As soon as you put the rivets on there, it gets much more involved. So that's why you see all these early samples that we get. Very rarely do they have rivet detail on them.
All right, so that's we should have a video probably towards the end of April, I guess.
The factory is pushing to get the changes and the tooling finished, changes done, the tooling finished, but keep an eye on the newsletters and the Facebook page because we're waiting for them at this point.
Yeah, awesome. The other thing I'll share too, we've got the latest sample of the PCNF B100 cars, B140 series.
Yeah.
So let me bring that up. This is actually the latest tooling sample. We did have an earlier one that we didn't really show, but that wasn't ready for prime time. So we actually retooled a lot of elements of this car. So this is kind of the side-on shot. We've other photos here. There's the end of the car. We've got the eroded metal coupler platform there. Got all the ladders, kind of the railing over the end there. So the coupler.
This was sort of your foray into product design. So
it was. I didn't actually design the car, but this was the car that I've been asking for a while. So I'm very happy that we're doing this. We've got real rubber air hoses on the ends, metal grab irons, all separately applied. Let me bring up the underside of the car here. I will say this is the roof. This is not the roof that will come on the car. We're actually very we weren't satisfied with this, so we've got some help from our friends and a little help from our friends, and the whole roof is being retooled at some point. Well, actually, we're working on that right now.
Well, having said that, if anybody has a beautiful down-on shot of one of these cars from a bridge, it would be very helpful.
Absolutely. That's been the big trouble is finding roof photos. If you do have any roof photos, please let us know.
An original 8x10 negative of the roof, shooting down straight on it while the car is sitting still.
Yep, absolutely.
At noon.
And there's a hydro cushion underbody. Some of the details here we've thinned out some of the rods and some of the brake lines. A lot of this is actually metal wire.
Wire, yeah.
We revised the hydro cushion design, so that's got a lot more detail. It's looking pretty good. We also revised the draft gear to be a little bit thinned up there, and of course they'll come with KD158 couplers as well. And I really love how they've been able to do the separate door track and the rods. That's
they come out nice.
And we actually have. Let me see if I can switch over to the other folder. I don't know if we've got it, but we're actually doing a separate version for Amtrak. Just bear with me one sec. So Amtrak actually bought these cars from the SP in '97 for use in express service. So they changed things like they added truck dampers so they could be run at higher speeds. One second if I can find that folder here. Bobby took some really nice photos and he actually built a sample for us not too long ago. Give me one sec. There we go. Just wait for it to open up.
This is where you need Jason's intermission music.
Yes, we do.
We need Jeopardy music.
The computer is.
Oh, and speaking of which, I guess we'll be nice and give them a little plug while we're waiting, because my mail just came in tonight. And,
good timing, by the way.
Yeah, the new issue of MR is out, and there's a whole article in here about some nut that built his whole 1-to-1 scale train in his basement. I can't imagine who would be crazy.
Guy's out of his mind. Who does that?
He must be, but I'm gonna enjoy sitting down and reading that later and finding out a little bit about that.
This is probably the first time I've ever heard of this project.
I've never heard of it ever all. Who would do such a thing?
I don't know.
In their basement. I'd fill it full of layout.
You have to be crazy to.
It's almost like some guy built a train in his basement.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
And then he built a layout in his basement to go with the 1-1 scale passenger car.
Exactly. Well, on that note, let's go back to P100s for a minute here.
Good buying time there. There you go. Okay.
So Bobby took this on his where's his beach house on the Jersey Shore.
Yep.
Literally, that's where it is. That's the ocean in the back.
That's the beach car.
This is a great time of the year to be out in the ocean.
Absolutely.
In New Jersey.
It was built in beach shops.
Yep. Yes. So you can see we've got actually tooled the door wheel that Amtrak fitted on these cars when they were
lined.
Yep. It was Greenbrier rebuilt them in '97.
That's
so
all you can
added on that there. You can't really see it very well, but there's the truck damper. They didn't still like traveling at very high speeds. I think they were limited to about 95 miles an hour, something like that, because they tended to not like traveling that fast. So they were limited, but that is a feature we've added. And another thing that's not on this car, actually two things. So one thing that Amtrak did when they rebuilt, they actually took the hydro cushion kind of cylinder off the car. They welded the entire hydro cushion in one piece, so it never was actually functional by the time Amtrak got these.
Well, mail doesn't need cushioning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the other thing that we've done that you can't see it here, it's not on this sample, but we've added the bracket for the EOT. So these were always on the end of train. They didn't have any head-end power cabling or anything. So they were always on the back of the trains from about 97 to about 2005, I believe. And we've got the little EOT bracket that was on the end of the car on each end. And we're also doing a little bit of an EOT. It's not functional, but it'll look really cool when we finish that. So that is the B100, and that order deadline is coming up on April the 15th. So that's going to be along with the PA1. And I think what we'll do is we'll answer some questions first.
Sure.
And we'll look at the PA1s in a minute.
I'll need a string of those for Amtrak.
What, the PA1s?
Yes, the PA1s.
John, I don't think, no, never mind.
The B100s, you dopes.
Here we go.
But then again, PA.
Yeah.
I like that. Whose wife would be fine with that. Talking about building a train in the basement.
Yes, yes.
Samira puts up with so much. She's a saint.
Bill's bed, his refrigerator, his kitchen are just over to the right, where he lives now.
Exactly. Let's get some questions here then. Do we foresee a scenario where we'll sell deluxe HO passenger cars with figures?
Figures is always a question that comes up,
Mhm.
and
They're expensive though.
They're very, that unfortunately is part of the problem. They are expensive and difficult to tool and to paint.
Yeah.
And, it would add quite a cost to the car.
Also quite a bit of assembly time because you'd have to have someone sitting there assembling them all and putting them in the car.
plus one of the other problems with passengers is that since we put weights in the car, we kind of raise the floor a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the seats are kind of close to the floor, so you end up hacking off the legs.
Yep.
To fit the passengers in there, and that makes it a little difficult.
Yep. Yeah, I used to do that with my my branch line heavyweights. I built dozens of those, and sometimes I would
all these little feet rolling around in the aisle.
Yeah, exactly.
I literally, when I did my New Haven diners and stuff, I filled them all with people, and then I looked over to the right of me, and I had this giant pile of like legs and things like that and torsos, and it looked kind of gruesome, but it was kind of funny in a gruesome sort of way.
Here's a tooling question.
Oh,
Actually, this is for either one of you. Can you guys briefly explain what tooling is? Do you need a mock-up to model off of to do tooling? If that makes, if I said that very concisely.
The tooling is basically the metal mold that the plastic parts are produced from, and that typically isn't produced until all of the design work is, I'll say 100% done, because that's why we have samples, but 99.9% done because it's very expensive to make changes. So yeah, there are actually some videos. If you go up into our YouTube channel, we have some videos taken in our factory, and I think there's some of them that do show tooling in progress. And basically, they're big metal blocks. They don't look very fancy, but the parts that come out look great.
and all our models are all our models are designed in CAD virtually, so we do that first, and then they use the CAD to actually cut the tooling via EDM, what they call EDM. So that's how the tooling is actually made. It's cut with plasma.
Mm-hmm. And I think we did a video on that.
Yeah, we did
a few years ago. So yeah, visit our YouTube page and kind of search that out, but it is in there somewhere.
Yeah,
when we're in design, we see. Oh, sorry, Bill. Go ahead. When we're designing a product, we look at a lot of virtual model, and we make all the corrections in the virtual model. We can spin it in any direction on any pole, and we can take parts away, add parts, and that's how we actually design the models. And we can also measure the parts to make sure they're accurate. And we put all that together. And when we say okay, then they go to tooling and they cut the tool, and we see the sample model, which is what you see when one of these shows up. This is a sample model.
Mm-hmm.
So we look at it and we say, yeah. And if we say, yeah, it's good to go, it goes into injection molding, and they shoot them all and paint them and all that stuff.
Of course, they're very rarely good to go on the first job.
Yes, very rare. There's always a few.
There aren't too many significant changes. Most of the stuff that we find tends to be minor stuff. So
well, we're catching a lot of the stuff pre that now. We do this bloodletting session in design where we all get together and we kind of we say, okay, I'm going to review the X72 car. So all of us project managers get together and we all sit there and we look at the car, and they've never, all the other project managers haven't seen the car yet, so they have a fresh set of eyes. So what happens is they pick up a lot of stuff that you miss because of the simple fact that you've been staring at it so long, and you tend to blank out the mistakes and stuff like that. So we've been doing a lot of that, and it's vastly improved our quality.
Yeah, we had a very interesting mystery meeting last week for a mystery project, and
yes, right. Well, the classic line is, "I'm done with the design. I'm ready for the review," and everybody else says, "Oh, you think so?"
I say, no, I mean, I uttered the immortal words. Oh, I think it's almost ready for tooling.
Yeah.
And then we say, let's do a final review. And it's like pages later of corrections and many tears.
Yeah.
Oh,
So why don't we look at the?
But
Oh, sorry.
back-
Go.
Just real quick on the tooling and the production, there are several videos on our YouTube page. If you go digging through on various parts of the production in China, that might be of interest.
yeah. You can watch sausage being made.
Hopefully better than that.
Oh, plastic sausage. NHO or N.
Exactly. So I guess this would probably be a good time to talk about the PAs. We haven't talked about that yet, and that is the other deadline coming up in April.
Thank you, Matt.
Uh-oh, what did I miss?
Matt just made a mortal comment.
Uh-oh,
Don't worry, I'll fix him. He has a review coming up.
that's true.
And it's after you take these photos that you realize that the windshield didn't seat quite well when you hand painted the model.
No, but of course, this is a hand-painted, hand-built,
Yeah,
hand-deckled, decal model. So
with no rivet.
No,
But
no
yeah,
rivet.
these are the first tooling samples of the PAs, and they're coming along quite well, actually. We're very happy with the way that they're working out. This is the Pensy version, which has the Pensy extended number boards and the vent screens on the front, and which are two features that haven't been done before, I don't think, in a ready-to-run model. And train phone antennas, of course, and it has a unique back end to it. The Pensys were unique there. It has unique skirts on it, road name specific parts.
But the Pensy was the standard railroad of the world.
the standard railroad of
Who told you that?
They did.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the Pensy, the back end of the locos on the Pensy have the little marker lights up in the corners there that you can see in the model. They don't work because the light opening is so small that they'd be basically invisible. But
yeah, like 0.5 millimeter or something like that.
right, the details parts are on there.
Mm-hmm. It's another side-on shot there.
Yep.
And again, no rivets on this yet, and commercial decal. So there's a few adjustments to make that for production artwork. This isn't quite accurate, but it's pretty close.
Yep, but it gives you an idea of what they will look like first.
Yep.
And I think we're going to do a video on this probably sometime in probably
Fairly soon. I spent a little time today of trying to finish up the SP samples. So we've got some Southern Pacific ones I'm doing. So
is it daylight or is it bloody nose?
The red nose, red and gray.
Yeah, I will need to buy those myself. So
I have other roads that are going to pain me.
yes. My wallet's not safe on that one.
No. So somebody asked, why can't we make HO scale sausage for our dining cars? And just to let you know that when we did the dining car, and it's all Bill's fault, because he's the one that put me to it, he said, can we put plates and stuff on the tables? And I said, yes, and we can put silverware too if you want.
There we go.
We went right down the rabbit hole with that. And I originally had the New Haven dining cars and the Canadian dining car. We had it with napkins, which are there, but we also had coffee cups and butter dishes and everything else. And we had to cut it back a little, unfortunately. So no HO scale sausage for you.
But there are water pitchers.
But there are water pitchers.
You have to install the water pitchers, but there are water pitchers for the table.
Yeah.
That's correct. We did talk about lights for the table too, but that would have driven the cost up.
We're getting other questions here about the 59s. We haven't talked about that too much lately, but we do have a bit of an update. So why don't I bring this? I'll bring the web page up here if I can find it. Give me one sec. We'll bring that
Yes,
up.
Metrolink was so much fun doing the artwork for.
Yes.
It brought me to tears.
So we were talking about that this week, specifically the Metrolink units. We are actually happy to say that the orders have actually improved quite a bit for certain ones. So the phase 2, the single stripe, has now made the. We've now got the orders that we need for that scheme.
What about the swirling stripe one?
So yes, the other ones. So the as delivered. I need one of these, so I'm going to be ordering one, and we hope you do too. This as delivered paint scheme needs more orders, and
That one.
phase 3, the ribbon scheme, needs more orders. We're
No.
not there yet.
I worked so hard on that artwork. It was brutal.
But we really want to make these, as well as the TRE, Trinity Rail Express. They do need a boost still. We do have the bi-level passenger cars coming. The first tooling sample should be here sometime mid-spring, I'm going to guess, just as a just kind of guess there. But we're hoping that once we have those cars to show, that will bring those orders up nicely and maybe begin production mid-year, probably by the summer.
Yeah, those cars were Josh's evil twin.
Yes. He had lots of fun with those.
He did, indeed.
But the numbers have improved, but we still encourage you, go out and place your orders. We're going to be talking about it in probably the next newsletter. We'll be doing some more publicity on these as time goes. AMT as well. They're doing okay, but we'd still like to see some more orders on those. And of course, there's the Trinity Rail Express version. But yeah, the other ones, Metra has done actually quite well, and as has, of course, Go. That's kind of sells itself. So yeah, make sure you order them.
There was a comment somebody made, just going back to the PA real quick, about an FPA4 that was scrapped down in Texas. There's a donor to put the roof on the PA that the group is restoring down there.
Yep.
And that's kind of a fun example of modeling helping the prototype, because we had done a 3D scan of the FPA4, and we did a 3D scan of the PA. And one of the fellows in the group down there has been a huge help in us researching the PA, and contacted us and said, could you overlay the FPA4 scan on the PA scan and see if the roof radiuses are the same? And we were able to do that, determine that yes, this thing would work, so they can replace the roof on their PA. So kind of fun to be able to help out on some of that stuff when we can.
Absolutely. And it'll be really cool to see the finished product.
They're doing an amazing job on that.
Oh, yeah.
They've got a lot of work to do, but they're doing amazing.
And speaking of PAs, we mentioned this briefly before. For the DCC Sound Rapido PAs, we are moving to the ESU V5 decoders on that production run. The TCS Rapido decoder isn't quite ready yet. It's still in development, but it wasn't quite ready for the PA, so we will be going with ESU on those models. All right.
I just want to say hello to Jeremy Cahill, who just signed in, who is a member of the South Shore Motor Railroad Club, to which me and Mr. Cutler belong to. So say hello to him.
Very nice. Hello.
There he is. He's asking for MBTA F40 PHs, not the PH2. You'll get nothing like it.
The extended?
Yes, that only the MBTA had.
It's another example of it's just like the other ones, except for everything that they changed.
Yeah.
Yes.
We actually get a lot of people asking, can you do the Caltrain F40 PH-2Cs and the ones that Coaster had? I mean, they're really neat engines, but that's the problem. They were, 3 feet longer? They were kind of like it was a stretched car body, and to do those accurate, there's nothing you can use from the existing tooling. It's all new from the ground up.
Well, that's what the F40 PH2 and MBTA was. They put the HEP power back there, and of course it became a Franken unit for the MBTA. So if you want to buy an entire run of F40 PHs and MBTA paint, yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And Brian, you'll have to wait for the next run. Right? Asking about Erie PAs and E8s. Mm-hmm. They're on the list, but we can't do them all at once.
No, and this is something we get all the time. We actually get this, especially after the E8s were announced. The big question we got was, you're not doing my favorite railroad's E8s. I'm very disappointed. What's wrong with you? Add them to this run. We just can't we can't do every single paint scheme. It's just It's too difficult.
Not in the first run.
And the other fun one is, well, how come you're doing this paint scheme for this railroad instead of the one with the 1 stripe or the 5 stripes or the green one?
Yeah.
Again, we try to limit each batch a little bit so that the dealers aren't overwhelmed and the stores aren't overwhelmed. But
And also
got
because
plenty to go back to the well on both the PA.
yeah, and also so you're not overwhelmed, as Dan Darnell found out with the SW1200s.
Ah, yeah, he's still
Doing-
recovering from that.
Yes. He still has PTSD from that.
Yeah, and that's why that project has taken so long, because there was 20 different paint schemes and railroads
Yep.
to research and design, and that's something we'll never do again. Is
But 20 paint schemes and 19 variations, I think. So
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
19 and a half.
so
But we do have sessions where we go over which paint schemes should we introduce on the first
Oh,
run.
of course.
But then we sit there and go, this would be a good one for the second run. This would be a good one for the first run.
Mhm.
You know,
We
we do.
also don't want to put all our eggs in one basket. Like maybe announce if we were doing the PA or the E8s and we only announced roads from the Northeast.
Right.
Or
What's wrong with that?
Roads for the West. You need to have a mixture. So
somebody was just asking about Southern, Central, and Georgia or L&N. We're doing Southern in this batch and the other 2 down the road.
And that's the southern with the air tanks on the roof too.
The Bill question, how's the H6 460 doing? And I know it's kind of still on hiatus. But
We're still taking orders on it, and I would love to do it. I don't think we've hit quite critical mass on where the numbers need to be yet, but by all means, if you're interested, let your dealer know, or you place an order with us, and if we get enough orders, we'll definitely do the project. It's just for whatever reason, the D10 proved to be more popular number-wise in pre-orders than the H6, so we had to kind of sideline the H6 for a little while, but love to come back to it.
And that being said, what does the future bode for the Icons of Steam? I know we've talked about the Empress already. We've talked about the D10s and the H6s, but where do we go beyond there? We still have all those other engines that we announced years and years back.
We do. And probably a little over exuberant at the time, but I would still love to see all of them happen. I think we're kind of committed to making them all happen, but we've got to, it's a lot of work to get through them.
Yeah.
And
pretty much, sorry, go ahead.
There are a few others I'd love to see us do as well, including some US Steam. So.
Yeah, like the New Haven R3A.
It's like an ONWP class. But anyway,
You'd sell 18 of them. One to every member of the ONW.
come on, some of us would buy 2.
Yeah, that's true. 36.
I wouldn't mind seeing some SP Steam. So
so there's a lot, there's only so many of us, and unfortunately it's also a matter of just finding the time to allocate to it.
Yeah. So pretty much, I think what we'll do is we'll focus on one at a time, and when that project wraps up, we'll move on to the next one. I think that's the best way of doing it without.
Yeah. So the standard Hudson, the H1AD is the next, will be the next release, and then we'll go from there.
And we've already got the chassis, we've got the tenders,
Right. I mean,
for the most part, so it makes the project a lot more straightforward.
It's a boiler replacement
Yeah.
with the
Another one.
unjacketed.
Just alike, except for the differences.
Yeah, just exactly like except for everything else.
Yeah. Someone's asking if we're going to be making ES44s, SD70 ACEs, and AC4400s. I guess we're announcing those on April the 1st.
Yes.
And
And don't forget the Alco C415 as well.
And NHOSONG at the same time.
HON3 as well.
So every April 1st for the next 5 or 6 years, we'll announce one of those.
Yes.
And only on April 1st.
Only on April 1st.
So I guess the official answer is probably not then.
No. I think there's enough on the market already. I don't think we could really compete with that. So
Yeah, it's almost like making an F7 now.
yes, definitely. Oh, what else have we got here? Do you have an update on the X31? How is that that's in production now, or did we just?
Everyone's in production, and they keep sending me questions on artwork and detail variations. So obviously that means things are moving along. So
Mhm, mhm.
hopefully we'll have some photos in a few weeks that we can share on Facebook and so forth as the production line goes through.
Absolutely, for sure. Is there anything else I haven't shared yet? We've gone over all the PAs, pretty much. Gone over all the order deadlines. Anything I'm forgetting about? That's probably about it then.
Cutler needs to be crucified.
Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of
Ontario
like
less than 44 tonners. What?
well, hang on.
You need one right behind you.
Yes, yes. Do you want to give everyone a look at your layout?
What you're seeing at this point is about everything that's scenic, unfortunately. So
Oh, okay.
we'll wait for a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Give it a couple
Well,
weeks. We
well,
should have
that and the fact that I've been doing work down here, so the place looks like everybody else's layout. When you're in the middle of construction, it looks like a bomb went off.
Yeah, exactly. So
Good.
I guess that's pretty much it. The questions seem to be Bobby's been feeding me questions all evening, so I think we'll answer one or two more and then we'll maybe call it a night. What else? Let me see if I can get something else here. We still thinking about N scale RDCs or tempos?
It's been discussed. No definite plans, but
We do have other N scale projects on the kind of on the horizon. I think we've got 3 or 4 things we're working on for this year. We always get people very upset if we don't announce everything we make in N scale, which is impossible, but we do have stuff coming. Just a little bit of patience and we'll have a few things coming this year. And oh, people are asking about the Canadian. They will be here in about a month.
say shortly, yeah.
They're leaving the factory I think in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
So end of March, early April, the Canadians will be arriving, and that's all paint schemes, all the different sets, the add-on packs, the skylines. They will all be coming at the same time.
So somebody asked if we're making another HO scale announcement. So every one of us are working on between 4 and 6 projects probably that nobody knows about yet that hasn't been announced in either N scale or HO. So the short answer is yes. You'll just have
I have a couple of things.
You have to wait. Yeah, right.
We're gonna have a very busy spring and summer. We've got lots of stuff to announce over the next.
We sure do.
Yeah,
Yep.
It'll be really fun. And this isn't just reruns. This is new stuff.
Yeah, March, April, May.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. What could you
yes.
possibly want? And no, we're not making the Roger Williams.
No, but I have to say, but Bobby says yes, he's helping with many of the new projects as well. So we can't leave Bobby. He's
a whole group
actually he spends most of his Saturday, I think, working while everyone else is playing video games and working on their layouts. So
working on my boat.
Oh yeah, working on your boat.
I'm sorry, not boat, yacht.
Yes, your yacht.
Be like Krusty and light my cigars with $100 bills.
I'm sure there's some kind of Family Guy reference stuff.
Oh no, this is Krusty stuff.
Maybe we'll answer one more question, and then I think we'll call it a night. And hour and 50 minutes. Going by pretty fast.
Yeah.
Now, Bobby, do you have one more question that you can send me? I don't know if he does or not.
Other than all of Paul Cutler's?
Oh, we could just get those out of the way at once.
Or these New York, Ontario, Western shills that keep popping in.
Ah, that actually reminds me something that we have coming up, and we'll be talking about in the next newsletter, and we'll be probably going online later this week. The one thing that we get lots of all the time is product suggestions, and we're at the point where we get so many emails just saying, "Can you make this, that, or the other thing?" We just can't. We don't have time to answer them all.
Well, let's see. There's 20 or 30 that just rolled by right here.
Yeah, there's 100 scrolled by right now.
So we're actually in development, very late development, on a product suggestion form that's going to be going live probably on Friday. And what you can do is it'll be on our website. We're going to be promoting it in our newsletter and on social media and stuff like that. So you can actually go to this form. You can fill out all kinds of information, attach photos, tell us why you think we should make it. That'll be going live in a couple of days, and we might not answer every single one of these. Maybe the odd one will say something, but it's going to be a form. It'll go into our database, and we do look at that. We read them all. We see what they have to say, but we're kind of at the point right now where we just can't answer every suggestion that comes in. We want to, but it takes a lot of time out of our day. So, but we will still be able to, we'll read those comments and add them to our list. So
and yes, Dan, this is essentially the same form as the Rapido UK came up with it. It works. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I will say from the product development team that if you say you've got a project you want to do and that you've got blueprints and photos and paint schemes and everything else and are willing to help, that just went to the front of the line.
Yes, if you've
So,
got
Yes.
as long as it's not the blueprint of like the Ingalls S4 whatever 4S whatever that thing is that the GM&O had.
oh, it's kind of a neat engine.
Yeah, the P5 thing.
Yes. But if you do know of drawings, that's a big that helps us. That's the difference between making a project or not in some cases. So definitely there's going to be the option for that, especially if you have if you got any SP boxcar drawings, please send them to me that I can get Jason to approve them. I need more SP boxcars.
Or somebody just nailed it. Is the reason to make it the product ran over the Kingston sub in 1980? Well, that's a pretty good reason. Yeah. If
But
it ran on Jason's layout, that also goes to the top of the list.
Well, from my perspective, if it ran through Fullerton in 1980, or if it ran over Cajon in 1980, then you've got my vote. So.
Well, I got my GLA hopper. That's about as much as I'm going to be able to get. So.
But we keep tricking Jason and tell him no matter what it is, it ran over the Kingston subdivision. So, and he goes, "Ooh, make it!" And we're like, "Yay, we got our pet project done."
Yes.
Photoshop is great.
Yeah, that's right.
I have a project we haven't announced it that I'm working on, and I found photos of it in Brockville in 1980 near the station, and that's all we needed to see. So
that's it.
It's another mystery project.
I have a project I'm working on that we found photos of locomotives that should never have been in Spadina under the coaling tower. So
yes,
yeah.
There you go.
As I recall, wasn't there like a Southern SD35 under the coaling tower, an NW SD35 under the coaling tower at one point? There's a Southern FP7 under there, that weird excursion back in the 70s.
Mm.
But no, we're not making those, but who knows? One more question, and I think we'll call it a night. Do we have a trailer update?
Ooh.
Trailer update.
It's being worked on. The Matt's been taking over that project. He's doing final designs with the factory on it now, but nothing in tooling yet. So they're working on it.
Yeah, should have an update probably later this month, maybe March. Maybe.
Yeah, fairly soon, I would think so.
Hey, Jordan, somebody asked, did the Amtrak Turboliner run on the Kingston subdivision?
As far as Jason knows, it did. That's all he needs to know. We don't have to show many photos. We just tell him it did.
Yeah, it did. Don't you know? You just gaslight him.
Exactly. It worked. But yeah.
Oh, more requests for E44s.
Yes.
We had request 1,000,001 go by a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we've got the obligatory GP40 TC recommendation. So
surprisingly, not a lot of Amtrak requests tonight.
I don't know. We've got some more stuff kind of in the back of our minds.
Uh-oh.
Oh, here they come. So
Yeah.
maybe that's the point where we decide to jump. We'll jump off.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to end it.
Yep.
Who's this Rapido Trains guy?
What?
Rapido Trains Inc. It certainly did.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Maybe Bobby, or maybe that's could be Josh.
It's one of them. One of those ne'er-do-wells.
Yep. Anyway, well, I guess that's where we should probably wrap it up. This has actually been pretty good. Everything flowed really well. Didn't have too much dead air. My internet connection didn't die like it did a few live streams ago.
Yeah. Seems to work.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to have this online again, so it'll be on Facebook. If you're just kind of joining in now, it'll be online in a few minutes, so you can rewind to the beginning and watch the whole thing.
Yep.
All right. So take care and look for our newsletter probably in about a week. All
Thanks
right.
a lot.
Thank you, guys.
See you later. Bye.